Shout out to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. Let's go. Primal Fear is back, and this time it's pure chaos. With a 10 times spawn rate, the world is swarming with demonic beasts, celestial titans, and creatures that leave nothing behind. And over the next 100 days, the Keys and I must face every challenge this world throws at us, and with each stage, a spinning wheel will decide the random creatures we can use against the bosses ahead. With a few extras allowed only for progression. From Noah the Destroyer and the Colossus Elementals all the way up to Picon's Revenge himself. Can we survive this nightmare? Will we succeed? Well, we gotta start at day 1 on the beach. I ended up spawning by the Dodo Baby Beach since it was the very first option and might fit a baby like me. I woke up next to a cave woman who apparently splattered the first thing she did when she spawned in. And that's how Primal Fear goes. Well, I continued on my quest by strolling my way downtown where I already got attention from these bosses, and I already had cooked up a master plan with my singular brain cell. Since the cave woman was still here, I might as well just bait all of these dinos towards her and make me the dominant male on this beach. But it all backfired.
Ow! No! Oh my goodness.
And as you can see, there were a lot of these different spawns that already had my jaw dropping from all of these choices. But I felt like a peasant right now, so I chose whatever for now. And after pulling myself together again, I found myself in a very tall grass, kinda like the one from Jurassic Park. But I saw this rock formation in front of me and I was running towards it, but I got somehow destroyed by a buffoon terror bird.
What? What is happening?
So while I'm spawning into the world again, I want you guys to comment below and guess how many times you think I'm gonna die in this video, and don't skip to the end, because I will find you, and I will end you.
If I go that way, I think I will be fine. I just need to avoid that fire over there. Yeah! Oh, come on! Leave me alone, Microraptor!
After having Mortal Kombat with this Microraptor, I felt quite hurt and vulnerable here, like usual, especially in this tall grass. I honestly had no clue what I was even doing. But anyways, I saw this raptor that was taking an eternal nap somehow, but I didn't really question it and I went to claim its meat for some reason. Now, all I needed was some wood and rocks so I could build a campfire. But when I was just looking over the horizon, a normal terror bird came behind me and ate me. Brother got those stealth skills, I swear.
Oh my god, my game is even worse state now. I have 20 FPS. I think I need to let my game load in.
Well, since my computer was about to explode, I was gonna try to do whatever I could in the next few minutes until my game had decided to explode or work. But then, a nearby Primal Raptor chased me down in the middle of my PC throwing a fit. Well, I did find his terror bird from before and I grabbed his hide for now. And finally, after waiting nearly 5 or 10 minutes, my game started to run properly now. So now with my double FPS, I could finally explore the area a little bit more, where I ran past this metal here, but I didn't really have a single rock to make a pick yet. But not too far away, I managed to find a little beach here where I picked up some stones to make my first Stone Age tool, so I could quickly collect some metal. On day 2, I had a difficult choice between this beach and the other, and I didn't know which side I wanted to live on, but I had to get over to the other side first to explore it and then decide. But I had to cross this river first, and I didn't see anything dangerous in the water yet, but after walking down the beach, I saw this piranha here just waiting for a juicy peasant.
Ha! I made it over the river. Skills. No danger. I feel so safe here.
There was at least a dodo nearby that I'd chosen to become my dinner, so I smacked the spirits out and I got some nuggies. But my grace period on this beach here didn't last long, as I had some ants harassing me.
Ow, well, that hurts. No, I can't believe it. I died to bugs and I didn't even place down my bed!
I'm not really sure how I will find my way back to my thing, since I just ran in a random direction before. And like, there was raptors around here as well, so I didn't really have that many paths to take. But after spinning around for a bit, I ran into this destroyed part of a castle, and I thought this was a sign for an explorer note, but there was nothing. It was just this stupid Microraptor who was bullying me, so I went to Mortal Kombat his butt down. Until he got helped by these stupid ants that snuck up behind me. This is the second time I got eaten by bugs. That is humiliating. But as I got back on my feet, I was quite unsure where to go, but I was aiming for the green light over there. But when I was taking it a little bit easy while walking down this river, a plane suddenly swooped by out of the blue. Well, that was weird. That was a plane, just like War Thunder, which also happens to be the sponsor of this video. War Thunder is the most comprehensive vehicle combat game ever made and is available now for free on PC, consoles and mobile devices. Experience the ultimate vehicle warfare that lets you control over 2,500 tanks, planes and ships, taking a walk through military history spanning through the last century. And with an authentic detail, realistic physics and stunning visuals, every battle feels alive. The vehicle damage models are highly sophisticated, where each vehicle has detailed parts and hitboxes that you can use to disable your enemies in a variety of ways. So that will let you target fuel tanks, weapons, crew and more. And when you take your enemy down, you can view exactly what happens in X-ray view, so you can see precisely where the impact happens and the damage and destruction that unfolds after. Join over 95 million players worldwide in an intense PvP combat across land, sea and air, and discover why War Thunder remains the premier choice for fans of military action. However you choose to play, War Thunder has something for everyone. Are you interested in arcade mode, where you can enjoy fast-paced matches and simplified physics? Or are you looking for the ultimate challenge in simulator mode? Maybe even the middle ground in realistic mode, where you will find a balance of intensity and authenticity. Well, my personal favorite part is how much attention to detail War Thunder has put into making all of the vehicles and how cool that makes them look. Remember that War Thunder is free to play right now on PC, PlayStation, Xbox and even mobile. So hit the links in the description or pin comment to jump right in. If you're new or haven't played in over 6 months for PC and console players, you'll get an exclusive bonus pack loaded with awesome stuff like 3 premium vehicles, 2 high-tier rentals, a 50% XP and income boost, 100,000 silver lions and 7 days of premium time. But don't wait, it's a limited time deal.
Okay, stamina. What is that sound? Whoa! Okay, we're running over. Oh, there's brawn on me! Oh, swim faster! What? I think I'm gonna give up on my things. What is that sound? Do you hear it? Sounds like an earthquake or something. Oh, what? Face Sabertooth? Where did you come from? Oh! I can't spawn here. I'm literally cooked.
After that fat L, I decided to spawn somewhere else. My old stuff is completely cooked either way, and I kinda gave up on that spot as well.
Wait, what is that sound? Whoa, whoa, whoa!
But when I was crossing over this river here, and almost getting eaten by bugs a 3rd time, I ran into a quite ferocious predator in this forest that just wanted to say hi and eat my face.
Ah, I ran out of stamina. I can't survive. Can't go anywhere. What is that? An alpha Dragolf? I've never seen that. Oh my lord.
Like, even the Dinos here decided to just end it. I mean, I understand them, but I found out very soon what took care of those dinos.
Oh, is that a bee? Awesome. I love it.
At this point, it's just a nightmare pressing that spawn button. Like, there is never a moment's rest to actually work on getting tools. And the best way right now is probably trying to get a bowl or something. But even that was gonna be challenging.
I don't know how many times I've died to bugs. This is insane.
No matter where I go or even look, there is danger anywhere.
Hi.
Oh, come on! What is that all of a sudden? Okay! Please give me a break!
Like, bro, I experienced the afterlife like 14 times today and it's not even dinner yet. Maybe now I will have a good start, since there was nothing exploding within the very first second. But 6 to 7 seconds later, there was explosions everywhere.
What do you mean parrot minion? Dude, because I can't get past the first stage. I can't even make tools.
Well, it ain't Primal fear for nothing, eh? Waking up to Hell Demon is exactly what my degraded heart needs. My heart rate was a functioning 160 BPM so far. A bit down here, I even managed to find the Kisses item cache before getting eaten again. Well, since I haven't had to experience any more respawn screens yet, I got the time to explore this new area here where there was a pool of like a few hundred piranhas wanting my juicy bottoms. I was also unbelievably able to make some tools and equip a little bit of armor now as well. Something must have snapped in me since I made some progress. So now, I wanted to work on getting a dodo, but all I could see was a raptor down here by the beach. So I decided to head the other direction, but there was a raptor there too. But I didn't feel quite athletic and I ran into a bunch of bugs blocking my path.
Hey Kiesel, how many times have you died?
I don't even want to look, man.
But after experiencing 17 fatalities, I saw Kisa by the green obelisk.
Hi, Mikey.
Do you wanna come to me?
No, I think you should come up to me.
No, you have a chaos bee behind you.
I didn't feel like heading towards the Chaos Beast direction and I went to Skinny Dip by the water instead, where there was a bunch of flying bugs to harvest. Now, I got a bunch of chitin for days at least, but the only thing I don't have right now is the hide to make myself a bed, so if I die out here, I will be screwed. I couldn't see anything weak on the beach to get rid of for hide, so I ran up to the beach to see if there was any dinos laying around here. I did however see something else laying there and I wanted that hide, but the bee was way too close to it.
So, one of the creatures that the bee killed had a potion, and I drank the potion, and now I have 100 levels.
Well, after waiting for the bee to move away, the dino laying there had disappeared because I was too slow. And close to the end of day 2, I did however find a Lystro that kindly gave me some of its hide so I could make myself a bed. On day 3 in my 1x1 with the bed, I made a storage box and I learned a few important skills in my brain of mine. I got a campfire made and placed out as well so I can get some cool dinosaur steaks, but I was gonna need a little bit more of hide since I didn't have enough for a forge. And a bit later, Akisa came by my small campsite to join my tribe, but she didn't want to join the butt cracks this time and wanted me to join her goose tribe. Anyways, I got myself a bola made now so I can harass my first culprit for his hide. But now, I finally found my first tame, so let me explain how to spin the wheel challenge works. We are allowed to tame any of the basic creatures so we can move on to the first tier of Primal Fear, which is the Toxic tier. And we're only allowed to capture up to 5 creatures of the Toxic tier with the help of our spinning wheel. And if we're unlucky enough and can't capture a single creature that lays any eggs, we will have to reroll one creature until we get that one that lays an egg, otherwise we cannot continue with the mod. But anyways, I got the dodo finally captured, but I wanted to move it up to my base where I saw this tech creature up the hill. And I wasn't sure if this was a normal or a primal, so I decided to head to the left side of this rock formation. But that side had a freaking Therizino waiting for me to deliver the chicken nugget to him. So I decided to just check with this parasaur and luckily it was a normal one. I made a primal spear which does some torpor so I could get this parasaur for berry farming.
I want a crystal up there so I can make a spyglass.
I made a ramp to get up to the crystal here now. I didn't want to waste the crystal just yet, so I grabbed the metal here so I could make a better tool first. And after jumping down here, almost ripping myself to gravity, I was not able to make a forge to melt this metal. While I was waiting for the metal to melt, I named my bed to prevent the Kisa from touching it. I didn't see Kisa by her base, so I gave her beds a cool name too. Kisa was on her way back home, where she was wearing this stupid bee helmet again. I thought I wasn't gonna see this again, but here we are. But anyways, I was able to make the smithy and squeeze it down on my 1x1 camp to then make a pickaxe. So now I was able to make some crystal and I will be able to get a spyglass along with some sweet soul balls.
Can we make this landing? Oh, land on him. No!
When I woke up, my tames went for an eternal nap thanks to the Chaos Beast's presence that I couldn't see. But anyways, I was able to make a spyglass now, so now I can see the HP and torpor of the Chaos Bee, and it was way more than I was expecting.
Oh, he's getting way too close.
The bee had walked away a little bit further, so I was able to make a mortar and pestle to make myself some cementing paste. I was thinking of getting a reusable grappling hook so I can scan around the area to see if there's something worth farming. The bee was just way too close to comfort because it was taking over my base. I don't know what to do other than just watching it strolling through the town here. Well, I made a second forge now to speed up the process a little bit. I could still pull my resources from here. And while I was struggling with the bee, Akisa had already one of those glider suits somehow. We also found an Explorer note up here too, so weirdly enough, this map has Explorer notes scattered around for us to grab. But when I was just resting by my base and stretching my body in real life, I quickly sat back down when I heard some explosions in my presence. I got down to the beach and noticed all of the dinos laying around here. It was basically open season for me to just grab whatever was here. So after getting a handful of useful items, the only thing I need now is some clothing so I won't be arrested for public exposure. Akisa had also made some extraordinary progress because she had somehow put up a base on a floating balloon. What the f***?
What the hell is that? Is that a base?
My house.
Your house? Okay. Living fancy here, are we?
On day 4, I surprisingly made some progress and put down this primordial decor because I wanted to also get my hands on that glider suit Akisa was using. But it cost 50 metal to make and I was struggling right now with metal, but I made it either way, putting me in a heavy debt. Well, a bit later, I went to investigate Akisa's floating island and she had placed down more than just one of these, making me feel undervalued down here on Earth. But I really liked her base though, since it was very spacious and gives you a lot of legroom for cruel activities. But living up here is probably very safe from most dinos, and the real question is how many Primal Fear dinos are able to destroy this floating base. But for now, that's Akisa's worries. I didn't come here to adore her base. Akisa was supposed to come down to my garbage one by one since she had a blueprint for a good crossbow I could make. And the plan was to go out and look for a dodo so we can get some eggs in order to actually progress. I've been doing nothing except just being eaten so far. Anyways, as we ran down here we saw our very first problem at the beach and luckily he could be bolad, but I felt quite alarmed from that. And after exploring this side of the beach, we couldn't even see a singular dodo in the distance, so we headed the opposite way instead, where I also tamed up these moshavs with some purple berries. But when we started running in this direction instead, I was getting attention from literally everything. I was the main plot in this now, so I ran up towards my base by the green obelisk where I met something on the way instead.
Okay!
I may have been the main plot, but where's my plot armor? And apparently my soul and mind wasn't the only thing that got destroyed. My bed was completely gone, so I spawned up by Akisa's fort.
You wanna know what happened? He destroyed my base, that Sabertooth. He destroyed my bed here. All my stuff is broken.
So for now, I think I want to move up to Akisa's base because I don't want to live down here right now and humiliate myself further. Now to the problem of getting my stuff back though. And out of all of the places, I couldn't have been in a worse spot.
Yes, Dodo, leave me alone.
Now let's try this again.
I kinda knew that was gonna happen. Hey kids, can you borrow me a crossbow? A grapple hook, sorry. I can't reach my stuff.
Now, when I got the grapple hook, I for sure will get my stuff back, right?
Oh, come on!
At least the kids had some sympathy for me, so I joined another grapple hook. And it kinda worked.
Oh, come!
Almost. This time, I decided to use my brain for once and surprisingly, I checked under the bridge and all and I saw nothing there now. Akisa came down to be my second pair of eyes, but finally I got my stuff back. Then we decided to just move everything up to Akisa's realm. I cannot stay down here any longer. On day 5, I went out for a little bit of exploration since I had a safe home now thanks to Akisa. But when I was about to climb this mountain, dinos started coming at me for no reason at all again. And when I was trying to recover my stuff, it was rough.
It's that Origin Dodo ruining everything. Every time I walk close to him, everything attacks me. No! I jumped too far! Oh my god, I survived.
Guys, like at this point, I might be beating my record for most deaths in a mod pack. And dying over and over again makes my hair kinda recede more and more. Well, for now, I had to cool myself down before I get more mentally damaged than I already am, so I farmed some seeds with my shop. But my brother wasn't super effective in gathering seeds, so this will take a while. But when a nuclear war was breaking out nearby, I immediately dismounted my shop to try saving him, but that was too goddamn slow. And seeing all of those green beacon lights on my past self and a dodo waiting to put down another light for me, I was starting to feel my hair receding even more now. I might as well just prepare my skull for a clean shave soon.
Okay! There's a queen bee straight underneath the base! What should we do now?
Make a raft and sail around until we find some penguins to kill.
I like that idea. Let's make a raft.
Okie dokie, got the raft.
You already have a raft. I don't have clothes. Let me make something. I don't want to be naked. God damn. I'm literally naked and afraid here.
Right now, we're on a mission to find a flyer, but I think my eyes were smudgy because all I saw was these low-level ones. And don't worry about the sound, there were demonics literally everywhere on the beach. But right now, we had our first target, and that was this Pelagornis here. We just needed to find some fish meat, but it found us. And now, we have officially a flyer on this island of nightmare fuel. I did see a pretty good Pteranodon in the distance I kinda wanted, but that beach was concerning. And after a few minutes, we now had a pair of them and brainwashed them to make an egg for us. And while we were still scanning around for more flyers, we got completely erased from existence by a water creature.
Yeah, it destroyed the boat. Oh, what's happening by our base? I can't see anything but light. Okay! No way!
The next day, we got introduced to bombs and explosions. It was demonics and spirit spiners fighting each other, and that was kinda insane. But after witnessing Doomsday, I managed to find an XP potion and some other drops from this demonic parasaur at least. Ikisa tried looking for our destroyed boat with her item cache, but she couldn't see it anywhere. And I had no idea where the boat even was, so I was sprinting around here on the beach mindlessly.
Okay.
But a bit later into the day, we had decided to give up on the stuff with the boat and headed towards the sand dunes instead. We needed more metal to make more craft tables, but obsidian was our priority now because we needed it to make the Primal pike and we had no obsidian for it. Finally, I made it to the Sahara Desert, where I found some obsidian, so I had to grab it quickly because Akisa had spotted a Pteranodon for us to try taming. I saw the bird Akisa had spotted, but I made a grave mistake when shooting this bird, thinking it would go down with one trank arrow, but it did not. And it flew off towards the Spino and got eaten. I should have trapped it first. But luckily, there was another one here that I now trapped and brainwashed to join my team of peasants. And while I was waiting for the lady to eat up her nuggies, I went to trap another bird and knock it out. But when I was off grabbing some meat for the birds to tame them, a corrupted Pteranodon had made dinner of my tames and I was dessert. On day 7, I had worked on getting a floor down along with a mortar to try making some narcotics since I saw a Pteranodon by the water I wanted to tame and I just needed a few more trank arrows to prepare for it. I did see it land now on that small island, so I trapped him and I removed him from his consciousness to manipulate his mind to join our tribe. And this time I will be babysitting him. I am just so tired of losing tames as soon as we get them. But finally, after like 10 minutes of waiting, it was mine. I got a saddle moving too because I was excited to get up in the air. And it was a rather good idea to do it since a dodo wyvern had appeared next to the base. But after a little while, Akisa had come back here to place down one of these awesome teleporters, so now we will be able to recover our belongings. And coming over to the sand dunes to get some obsidian to make some polymer was a great idea. But for now, we had decided to head out and look for another Pteranodon of the opposite gender to make more of these. And we stuck fairly close to the water just in case. But on day 8, when we were getting close to the red obelisk, we got suddenly too close to the Chaos Dragon's aura and it erased the Pteranodon in an instant. I had to now traverse on foot. We had no means to travel by air again.
Nah, my glider suit broke.
But after crossing the land and gaining strength to climb this mountain, I found a dodo that I can finally tame. This is insane progress. Now, all we're gonna need is a female and then we can start getting some eggs to finally move on to our very first tier of Primal Fear. I was kinda out of ideas what to do for now, so I went out and looked around the area for any possible dodos to tame. But when I was just minding my own business, scouting around, something gave me a heart attack.
What the f was that?
That scared the living crap out of me. I think I was gonna poop my pants.
Then a bit later, I made a soul terminal to prepare it for automated farming and to store our lonely dodo to keep it safe. And not too far away, I did find a low-level dodo female that I quickly knocked out and then tamed. So now we have officially a pair of them. Also found this kamikaze dodo surrounded by some other big ones and apparently he was able to be knocked out. I know I'm not allowed to tame it, but it would be fun to mess around with that for Akisa.
I want that. Okay!
I guess I did too much damage to him, so he decided to detonate very close to me. And towards the end of the day, I had improvised some sort of a bridge to make it to the other platform easier. At the start of day 9, I had begun making a greenhouse, but I needed more thatch, so I went quickly down to grab some. But when I thought it was just far enough, I somehow got hit by the monkey. Anyways, back at home, I was now able to craft just a few parts and place them out. I was gonna make it to 4x4 because what we really need to focus on are these 4 crops. And I got this water tap placed down as well, which gets its water from the Shadow Realm, so there's no need for a water source. I then placed down this compost bin here to craft, well, shit. It's just because we don't have any dung beetles yet to make it for us, and this is the best way to make it now until I can figure out where they are. But the greenhouse, however, wasn't gonna be a pretty build at all, just a square box so we would get the 300% greenhouse effect to get our crops ASAP. And a bit later, I went to join Akisa and help her to get some vanilla tames. But we probably won't use them for anything, but at least they are something for now. Actually, I changed my mind. I did find some use in this Parasaur because now I can use him in the safe calm area to farm some berries and most importantly, seeds. Because we don't really have any of those back home. But on day 10, we were finally ready to spin the wheel because we are now able to make the toxic kibble. The spinning wheel will also determine what kind of creatures we are allowed to tame and use for progressing into the next tier. And for this tier, we're only allowed to do 5 spins.
Please, something good, something good. Frick! Not Sabertooth!
Sabertooth!
Congratulations.
Please, something good! What? We get the same! Come on!
We got turtles!
I'm never gonna use it. Why does it always land on this? Nah, no one has ever used that. 2 more. Can we get a flyer? I mean, that's not the flyer I want.
You asked for a flyer.
I mean, it's a bird.
Shut your stupid.
It's chicken.
Last one. We can do this
last
anymore.
one.
Come on, my muff, my muff, my muff.
Come on!
Parasaur.
Out of all of the choices we had here, we could have been getting a dodo.
We got things with eggs. That's all that matters. It'll get us to alpha. And we'll have Flappy Birds.
I wanted a tarantula! God damn it!
But since this was our last day before we were taking a break, we didn't want to go out of our way to tame any toxic creatures just yet. So instead, I made 2 sets of this Alpha Flag set to prepare because I was insanely annoyed repairing that hide gear from before. On day 11, I had made 10 of this toxic kibble and was gonna prepare with some more trank arrows, but we were out of spoiled meat to even make more. So then, I made this meat spoiler and placed it down. This will make meat spoil really fast. And since we're going out to tame a toxic terror bird, I made a pointy stick to use for it. So for now, we were out in search of this toxic terror bird, and it was really exciting also because there was so many new places we haven't even seen. But when I was climbing my way up here to look for Akisa, I met another interesting fella.
Oh my god, what's up here?
So it was important to stay up in the air because of that, but we will also cover more ground and not get blasted by this violent freaking thing. But now, we found one of those terror birds and Akisa got it captured and knocked his brains out. This other one, which was an alpha, had to be excused as we are not allowed to tame any alphas yet. And now, we got our very first toxic bird male and we're gonna need a female. But after capturing our first bird, we had to cross a lot of the land to find the next one. And now, we had reached the scariest thing in Ark, which is realistically the swamp. The swamp is always filled with Capros and other vile beings, but this is primal fear and demonic Capros exist in this world. But towards the end of the day, we did find the toxic terror bird and knocked its light out. The next day, we had a pair of these birds, but we're not gonna head home just yet because we wanted to snag a queen bee from this hive first to tame it. And we're just gonna have to destroy this hive first to get the queen out, basically destroying her home.
Okay, there it is. Okay, I got the bee.
And now, we're gonna have some honey being passively produced in the soul terminal, and that's just perfect. Then I made a hatchery to start getting our incoming eggs incubated so mom and dad doesn't have to work on that. I just had to make some refertilizer to get the dodo in the mood for incubating. And then, I got a pair of AC units and popped them down. But now, we have our very first baby dino. And after we got that sorted out, Akisa and I went for a little bit more exploration around the map because we didn't really have too much to do right now other than just explore and wait for toxic eggs to get onto the next tier. We kinda wanted to have a base, and this is like the only way we could travel far and look for a base location, which was pretty lame. But I lost Kisa somewhere and decided to just teleport to her.
That was a terrible decision.
We even crossed the ocean here and landed on this island and just wanted to quickly check it out. But the island's population didn't quite like me, so I perished. Well, the fertilizer creation was slow and we were running out of thatch to make more soon, so I went down to grab some more. But I got spooked when doing some humble farming. On day 13, I wanted to work on getting a mining drill, but we didn't really have enough polymer for me to make one, so I could do a lot of metal farming. And it was quite a distance getting over there, but not too dangerous this time. But in the desert, I had to be slightly careful since death worms live here. And I was pretty low HP currently, so I tried keeping my distance.
Oh, there's a dung beetle here.
Okay, so it will definitely be a good idea coming back here to grab it. Anyways, I was back home now to make a chainsaw, so I will be able to get more polymer out of a mantis.
Oh, there we go. 286 polymer.
But a bit later, Akisa told me to come over to her because she had discovered something. There was a teleporter pad here that we activated that moved us to a dark cave with a house in it and an elf. This was apparently some sort of an Ebonus Astrum Walmart where you could use some doubloons or something to buy resources. But I went back home cause it wasn't anything special. But now my new Toxic Terror bird was almost done and I was gonna make a saddle for it, but the saddle apparently needs wood and we were all out of it. So I went back down to do some looting and joined the wood and such from these beaver dams, but I got chased down. And looting these fabled creatures always gives me a smile cause they always drop so much loot. But the same Primal Parasaur chased me down again. On day 14, we needed to work on an S+ nanny that would imprint all of our dinos, so I had to give myself a new haircut. And I had to wait for Kisa to swing by as well so I can get the rest of the hair to make the nanny. Anyways, Akisa had discovered where the aberration entrance was and took me there. It teleported us to the lake, but this was it. So it was time to just explore this place. I was really only after the blue crystal, so we can have a non-buggy version of the glider suit, but we're gonna have to find the blue zone to get it. I did find a sheep here though, so now I could get some of this high protein rich food. And it's important to have our eyes peeled in here too, cause this Nuka-Dodo wasn't exactly a friendly guy. But a bit further up, Kisa and I hit one of the exploded dodos and he almost got us both blasted to oblivion. But yeah, this place is freaking huge, way bigger than I thought it was gonna be. Unfortunately, I was also too low HP to even land on the ground with my glider suit. Well, we couldn't find the blue zone or even the red one. So for now, we took our terror birds for a spin to try them out. This was like our only tame we could use for now in means of transport. But I did have a plan, and that was to harvest up a bunch of mantis, but also be on the lookout for a dung beetle since we need it for the greenhouse. I found one of the dung beetles I wanted and dragged it along with me to tame it. On day 15, I went searching for a spot where I found an oil vent and went to place down an oil pump on it I had on me. But after I sorted it out, I went home to sort out the thing with my dung beetle. I made a separate soul terminal only for producing poop that will also magically automate the greenhouse fertilization, so no management is needed. But anyways, since I am now able to make the alpha kibble, it's time to spin the wheel again. And considering we have a lot of these variants, we are only allowed to get 6 creatures for this one.
Let's hope for the best. It couldn't have been any worse. Okay, well... Hey, come on. I mean, it's not a bad one. Hey, come on.
The third choice wasn't good either, because we really need a flyer and good for egg making. But then we got one.
Well, you got
Wait
a
a minute.
flyer. Alpha flyer.
We got a flyer.
Good intro. So 2 more. 2 more. Let's hope for something good. Let's hope for something super good. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh, not the Bob Dog, no! Oh, you know, there's a griffin there. I want the griffin. Give me a griffin. Griffin, 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 griffin. Oh, no! Come on! Even past the griffin!
So, out of all of the dinos we got, the Seeker is the only flyer we got so far that we can use for air, unfortunately. I would have preferred the Griffin. But oh well, after those disappointing rolls, I made a mining drill now so I can do some insane farming at least. It was time to start making some beer as well, because I wanted to get a gardener that will work on the greenhouse, but it can only be fueled with beer, so we need to start on that. After I was done with that, I went to continue farming some more of this obsidian, then some more metal. But to melt all that metal, I needed to get some wood to power the forges. On day 16, I had decided to expand the greenhouse a little bit more since we had established a little base here safe from explosions and such. But it was definitely time to up the productivity a bit. We were gonna need a lot more berries too. I had to also replace these forges because we were kinda ran out of metal ingots all the time, and the primal one melts everything so much faster than the normal ones. And while it was just melting everything, I went out to grab a little bit more metal in the meantime. It's not gonna be a pretty greenhouse, I'm just focused on production, not aesthetics. But on day 17, it was time to explore the Aberration Cave. Akisa had done some thorough research in order to find the rest of this cave. It's supposed to be insanely huge compared to what we ran through before. So after a little bit of parkour and climbing, we saw the blue light way over there, and that's where we need to head in order to get to the blue zone. Now all there was to it was to get all the way down. And now I was able to retrieve some of these blue crystals. The plan for now was just to explore this and eventually look for the red zone. But this place wasn't that safe, to be honest, and we had to stay far up in the skies. There were literally explosions everywhere. It was definitely beautiful down here though, and it would be pretty cool to live down here. And the next day, Akisa had finally found the way down to the red zone by watching a YouTube video. So all we simply had to do was follow this river down here, leading us to the red cave. But that radiation damage from the red zone was so intense, and I saw my health dropping incredibly fast. So the reason why we did go down here is because we wanted to grab a little bit of red crystals and look after the Alpha Seeker we were allowed to tame, so we could get our hands on a flyer and actually scout for a new base spot. I used the Dino scanner to look for any lampreys, but unfortunately they are too far away and I didn't feel like going out of my way to grab one. So getting inside there is gonna be almost impossible right now. And after a little bit of thinking, we decided to just focus on progressing with the tiers, cause elemental tiers are straight after alpha and we will eventually get a flyer from it, I hope. But for now, we had tracked down this Hesperornis and was gonna knock it out and tame it to then get to move on with the alpha tier. I removed it from its consciousness, but I didn't have the taming helper on me, so I was kinda nervous with the Spino approaching it. But while I was just waiting for Akisa to get back to the base and grab the taming helper, I got suddenly ambushed. But after giving it the taming helper, I noticed now that it was a passive tame. God damn it. So then I quickly bounced back home to feed it some primal stimulants to wake him up. But when he woke up, it didn't want any alpha kibbles. It wanted fish to be dragged to it. And at this point, my mental state of being was starting to shatter. I grabbed the fish quickly from the river, and his taming only went up like 5% from one feed. That's absurd. So for now, we gave up on the bird and went home to build a little bit of the greenhouse instead. I was making tremendous progress on this new improved greenhouse of mine. I was planning to have 3 levels of it, so we have 3 times the production. But I quickly ran out of fibers and went down to the obelisk to grab some, where I got suddenly destroyed by demonic Mesopithecus.
What?
But so far, it's starting to look like a high production greenhouse, and while I was building the greenhouse, Akisa actually went out to look for an Alpha Velanosaurus for us to tame. And surprisingly, it's the other way around. I usually go out for tames while she works on building. But she didn't really feel like building the greenhouse for us right now, and we really need it. But while I was in the middle of building the greenhouse, Akisa had finally captured an Alpha Velanosaurus, so I just had to go to her and knock it out and tame it. We're gonna need a second one obviously, so we can get some eggs, cause we will need it. And then we took our terror birds for a little spin too, because we kinda forgot they existed. On day 20, when I teleported to Akisa, I was welcomed with fire, manticores, and everything the world threw at me. Like, this place is just freaking awful. There is so much stuff happening here. My terror bird was turning into burnt Kentucky fried chicken, so I put him away for now and started climbing this mountain instead with Akisa. So the Velanosaur was apparently up here. Akisa had knocked it out, so I just had to give it a kibble. So now we got them home to produce some eggs, but it will take some time. In the meantime, I went over to the Aberration to collect a little bit of berries along with seeds for my greenhouse. Afterwards, I kinda looked at this forge here, the Industrial Primal Forge. I kinda wanted this one, but there was so many resources for it that needed to be farmed. Well, time to get rolling on that, I guess. But when I was out here, I attracted all kinds of dangerous things, like a deathworm, then a manticore from the sky that completely knocked me out of the woods. For day 21, I was not able to make the elemental kibble now, and it was finally time to spin the wheel again. From this tier, we are only allowed to tame up to 5 creatures. The Ice Leopleurodon isn't that exciting at all.
Okay, let's go again. Please give us something good. Oh, yes, a flyer.
But the Fire Featherlight is definitely interesting because it's gonna be our very first flyer.
Let's go again. Yay! Hey! You gotta be kidding me. I was like, yeah, we're gonna get an electric. Come on, give us something good. Nah, come on, what is this? Wow. Right, this is the last one, Akiza. Griffin. Another caustic.
You were so close to having a griffin.
Alright, since we know which tames we can get, it's time to get some meat jerky going. So I made this Primal for preserving bins to make some jerky because it said it was blazing fast. But I figured out quickly that I couldn't just use this yet until we have some feathers to power it. And usually I just have to power these with spark powder, but that's not the case here. So I made some normal ones instead. They are not as fast as a Primal, I would assume, but they simply just work for now. Anyways, a bit later, Akiza had located a parrot by the beach here and had already prepared a trap for it.
Guys, Master Spyglass!
Where's the good one?
Yeah, there's a 145 right over there.
Okay, it's coming. I thought it was coming. Where is it? Hey, where did it go?
Oh, it's dead.
We decided to just go for this Fire Featherlight instead that was really close to our sand base. Akiza put down the trap and I distracted it towards the trap. So all we really did was poking at his forehead with our torpor pikes that did really well. We had located a second one and Akiza put down her trap in preparation for it. But this one was a little bit more tricky to trap, cause all he did was circling around the trap. And then he lit me on fire too, so it was time to say goodnight. On day 22, we tried again, but this time I couldn't walk out through the gates and I got barbecued inside. Akiza had to go through the same thing too because she placed the gates too close to each other. And on the first egg I hatched, I got twin females, so this will even help with the egg production going faster, once they mature of course. But for now, I went down to grab some beaver dams for their flowers and paste. But I got a little bit nervous when I saw a Quetzal flying by the base.
Don't you dare come near my feather lights. There's an AC-130 here.
And while we were waiting for the fertilites to grow up, Akiza was gonna try baiting the monkey into attacking an origin dodo to see if it's gonna be possible for us to get it defeated.
Oh my god, the bees got in on it.
And considering the bee took care of the monkey, I had to bait this demonic parent to the origin dodo, but it was too quick and I got annihilated.
Let's try again. I got pushed into the dodo.
We have now officially made it halfway to 100 deaths, boys. I wonder if this will be the one to break my record of 118 from Dino Overall X. I will definitely hit that mod up again, by the way. Anyways, so let's try this again. The Parasaur was closer now, so this might be the try of the century.
Like, wait, I didn't spawn at the bed.
Well, I kinda knew this was gonna happen. It was already faded when I didn't spawn by the base. I was gonna try doing this another try, but then Akiza brought a bunch of dinos towards me instead, so I perished. On day 23, I had planned on visiting the snow zone and I prepared a teleporter so I could just move myself there faster now because the map is kinda huge. Akiza was pretty jealous of me taking one of the featherlights out for a spin, but I really needed to head over to the snow zone. But when I arrived at this place, I was greeted by a lot of concerning noises. There were quite a few creatures in this place that I could handle relatively well. The featherlight is pretty powerful. But before I do any silly things, I need to get the teleporter placed out here now as a backup plan. After I got that one placed out, I decided to try fighting this buffoon monkey, but he absolutely cooked my soul from that. Well, after that moment with the monkey, I was back home and put the featherlight back into circulation. We kinda need more eggs. I also made a healing stew to try healing it up a little bit, but it was pretty weak. And after I got the new sets of eggs to hatch and release, I went over to Akiza since he wanted some help with the primal tech creature, so I took care of it easily with my chicken. She was out looking for a base location, so I decided to just join in and look as well. We found this island pretty far away from the mainland to check out, and it was apparently completely empty. It had no rocks, no trees, no grass, or even dinos. So this place is definitely one of the ones we will consider moving our floating base to. There was also this island here with a bunch of trees and such, but as soon as I saw a manticore in here, we bounced immediately. Even this area up here by the snow mountain looked good from a distance, but it was just too cold in this region. But on day 24, it was time again to spin the wheel, because we're officially able to make the apex kibble, which means we can tame them. And for this one, we are only allowed to spin up to 6 creatures because how many they are.
Oh my god.
Dinos!
Then go again. Magmasaur? I don't want the Magmasaur. Give me something useful, game. Okay. Whew. Let's pray. It's gonna be something cool. Where's Griffin? There's no Griffin here. You didn't put the Griffin on the list. Oh, there it is. Right there. I want this. Right there. Come on, game. You gotta be kidding me.
Defense unit.
I'm never gonna use the defense unit. Wait, where is it stopping? That is possibly the worst creature we've ever got. 2 more. Come on, flyer. Last one. Please, a flyer. I want the flyer. Yeah, this was a disappointing run.
Hey, Rock Drake.
But for now, I went out harvesting this fabled Brachiosaurus because I wanted to see if I was lucky enough to get my hands on some of these Primal weapons to help us tame these apex creatures. I was also able to find a dark creature here, so I could harvest a little bit of feathers from it, because we didn't really have that many elementals that gave us feathers, except this fire feather light we already had, and the feathers are very much needed for the tiers after the apex. So I kinda just flew around and got rid of a lot of fable creatures in hopes of getting a good trank weapon, but nothing super amazing yet. At the start of day 25, I did the samey. I went out and got rid of a lot of fable creatures, but nothing good so far. The keys had put down this tree platform along with sap taps, because one of the primal weapons we can craft, weirdly enough, requires sap. So anyways, if I can't get a random drop from these weapons, I will just have to craft it. And to craft it, I will need an astronomical amount of metal, so I just had to go out and farm a bunch of it. And after I was done with that, I had to quickly teleport over to Kisa because she made it down to the red zone in Aberration, so I used this time to farm as much red crystals as I possibly could. On day 26, I had already begun making some of these alpha darts to prepare myself for taming an apex. But in the middle of it, Akisa was shouting about getting a chainsaw from one of these creatures down here, so I went over to investigate what was going on.
This chainsaw.
Anything is better than basic. Oh, look at that.
And since I got one of these new cool chainsaws from Kisa, it's time to go out and look for some crabs to harvest for Polymer and Chitin. I did locate some crabs, but I accidentally kept eating them. But this one I managed to actually harvest, and I got a lot of Polymer and Chitin from him. And now with this Polymer I gathered, I was able to make the industrial Primal forge, and the crafting speed of this forge was immaculate.
Wow, this forge is super fast for Kisa.
Since I had a powerful forge, I had to go out and grab some more metal because I wanted to eventually make a better long neck to knock out Dinos. On day 27, I was tracking down this apex Carnotaurus so we could get to move on with the tier progression. But when I arrived, I had to be a little bit careful since it also had a fake Carnotaurus next to it. And luckily this time I had my long neck rifle for this and not my pokey torpor stick. Alright, now we got the male apex Carnotaurus, now we gotta just get a female one. I went for low level Carnotaurus because it didn't really matter what level it was, because I was just gonna be using it for apex blood and eggs. Anyways, when I was home to sort out some stuff, my ears got immediately blasted by explosions. I was however getting a little bit annoyed by the explosions, and I was curious to see which creature was throwing a fit.
Oh, it's a bee! No wonder.
I got so annoyed by the sound of the bee, and I went to the snow zone to see what I could take down. But I got literally cooked when going after this monkey. And when I got back to the spot, I couldn't really see my feather light because it was being eaten by a pig. But now, when I retrieved my feather lights, we could finally go all out on these creatures with their stuff. Okay, I got so tired of this bee just throwing nukes for no reason at all, and I saw this monkey nearby and I baited him towards the bee to finish it off. And would you look at that, 2 birds, 1 stone. On day 28, it was then time to start on the advanced elementals, and with this, it's time to spin the wheel.
It's wheel time.
How many times am I allowed to spin this?
I think only 3, because it's only really just 2 different types.
Okay, 3 times. Let's go 3 times. Give me a griffin! I am gonna be very sad if I don't get a griffin. Why?
Wow, a mega raptor.
Horrible. Horrible, horrible, Akiza. Let's do again. Griffin, Griffin, Griffin. I want Griffin, Griffin, Griffin. Why? Oh, come on! Yes! Griffin! Okay, what are you hoping for, Leopleurodon? Okay, we can hope for any Leopleurodon. Whatever, light, dark. They're all the same to me. Oh, we got a fair light. No Leopleurodon for you, kids, I'm sorry. Okay, that's good! Now we know what we can get, and now we know what we want.
Well, I was really excited to get myself some griffins, but when I looked it up on the scanner, I was very surprised about something.
There's only one! Oh! Well, we still have the light feather light. Oh, that was not a lot.
So the feather light is apparently down in the red zone in Aberration, and Akiza gave me her hazmat gear for this while she relied on her stupid lamprey. But this zone already sounds really freaking dangerous because there was constant power-ups down here. And the feather light I was going for immediately perished. But the scanner told me a new one spawned up on the surface, so I went to focus on that one. And when I was about to reset my recording for day 29, I noticed that there was a 130 mail up, which we need right now. I quickly rushed over to the light feather light on day 29, cause this was the only one.
Oh yeah, hello Peter lad, you're so cute.
So now it was time to immediately start their family-oriented activities to make some more of them. But at the end of the day, I learned this new armor set, Apex Flak Armor, and started crafting it. It will give us 500 more armor, but most importantly, more durability. For day 30, Akiza was out by this empty beach starting to line up some of these platforms to make a base. It was kinda weird how he placed down these platforms as well, but these floating islands were pretty cool nonetheless. And while Akiza was focusing on making us a new permanent base, I took care of the newborn babies and such. And when I was out on day 31 farming metal so Akiza could build the base and such, my feather-like babies was apparently getting cooked at the base. So I teleported back home fast to soulball them. But for now, I paused my whole breeding project until I had farmed some metal. I needed a new place for the breeders where it was actually safe from the terrors of wild primal fair dinos. Then a bit later into day 32, I was grabbing a little bit of fiber to make some of these bone gates. They were all going around the base to look less empty because it kinda looked so weird on the beach here without any vegetation or even rocks. But now I got one of these light feather lights ready so I could use it and replace my old fire one. I took my newly feather light to take down this dragon and it was super easy actually. So when I took it down, it gave me some element, but most importantly, the boss essence that will be needed to tame these bosses later. Towards the end of day 32, I threw out a few more dinos for us that we will eventually harvest to get the necessary stuff for a lot of things. Day 33, we are now ready to jump into the special tier now. So for this, we will only be able to roll for 4 dinos now.
Okay, first one, let's go. Please be something good! Oh no, I don't want the necrotic dodo! Where's the wyvern? Give me the wyvern! Not the terrorbird, we still have that one. The buffoon terrorbird, we can still get that one. 3 more tries. Give me! What is that? I don't want the monkey!
Now.
What do we get? What do we get? What? We were so close with a necrotic wyvern! Bro! Last one. Please land a good one. Okay. We can go with that. We can definitely go with the terrorbird.
Oh well, it's not all bad, but now I made some special kibble. But to tame these dinos, we might need a little bit of more powerful tranquilizers like the Apex variant. Alright, I had tracked down a terror bird to tame and I noticed it didn't have too much torpor, which I was fine with. However, I didn't pay attention to its level.
Wait, it's a level 20? I don't want a level 20 terror bird. What is this?
I did find a higher level one, but its torpor went up like nothing. So after using my brain for a bit, maybe it's better if I start making one of this Primal Fab Sniper, but it's extremely expensive. I can go with the cheaper variant, but my main problem is the cementing paste. So to fix this, I will start by making this industrial cooker, and that allows me to make these veggie cakes for taming a snail that will produce the paste for us. The first snail didn't make it, but there was a lot of these snails to grab here. And luckily, I found one out on this lonely rock out here. Guy must have been banished or something, but it was definitely coming with me. I managed to find an already knocked out one, and I tamed it immediately. And the third snail I wanted was way too close to this buffoon Megatherium, but I risked it and knocked it out. But I think I'm happy with 3 of them. They will produce snail paste pretty quick with our raids and should be just enough. So then, I went out to harvest these fabled Brachios in hopes of getting a primal sniper weapon. It's not a guaranteed drop by getting rid of this fabled creature, but it's not like I have anything better to do right now. I really needed to get my hands on a better trank weapon to knock out these buffoon terror birds. But when I was going after these Brachios, I found this couple of Indominus that trapped me inside them. So I just nuked them down. When I destroyed both of them, they apparently dropped an Indominus egg for me, so I grabbed it. I know the Indominus isn't part of the spinning wheel challenge, but this wasn't being tamed at all. They simply gave me an egg, so... And for the rest of the day, I just went on a big rampage by getting rid of all possible fabled creatures I could spot and find. A bit later, I found myself down in the aberration zone to grab a little bit of more polymer and chitin from these crabs so I could make my sniper. Afterwards, I had my fill of crabs, so I went to nuke down this demonic parasaur to see how my featherlight was doing against it. It went actually pretty smoothly against it since it couldn't do anything to me, and I got a really cool sniper blueprint as a reward. And the very next day, I had started taking down some of the things in our old base because Kisa had finally finished building the new perma base. So the thing is, we have been experiencing a lot of lag recently on the server and it was due to all of these dinos growing up. So they had to finally be harvested for their expenses. I was also gonna have to stop the breeding as well because the dinos have been constantly laying eggs and causing a little bit of lag for both of us. So the lag had been so bad that our entire hatchery was completely full of eggs. Day 37 started with me throwing out a lot of dinos again for harvest. We needed to get rid of all of these 300 eggs. But it was finally time to make the Primal Sniper Rifle. But I was just gonna mind wipe first to get the most out of the blueprint for starters. The craft ended up being a 507 damage, so that's kinda insane. I also made a Goliath Longneck Rifle so Kisa also had some sort of a weapon. She didn't get the sniper because we were kinda low on resources for making her one too. But to make our bullets and darts, I had to go out and slave again for some flint and stone to make spark powder. We didn't really have an Anki, nor were we allowed to tame one, but the mining drill does this just fine. I went out for a little bit of metal as well, because the bullets cost quite a amount of metal. Then the very next day, I was by the redwoods gathering all of the wood I could until my featherlight was so fat, so I didn't have to come back here for a good while. But now I was able to make the primal bullets back home. I also made some of my Apex Trank bullets along with the Kisa's darts, and now we are finally ready to attempt taming a buffoon terror bird. We tracked one down and the torpor my weapon did to the terror bird was massive. I think it went up like 30 to 40,000 per bullet, which was just insane. Then I gave it the taming helper and some kibble and it was ours. Now we just need female and we are ready for making more powerful birds. The next one was by the desert and this one wasn't that much different from torporing the other one. Our weapons were doing really high torpor, so this was easy. Now we can put them into circulation to get a stronger one. But while we were waiting for our buffoon terror birds, I had to get rid of all of these dinos because they were literally lagging the whole base. And on day 39, it was time to throw out even more dinos we had. But after sorting through some of the dinos we had an overwhelming amount of, I went over to Kisa to check what she was doing. And she was apparently taming one of these buffoon dodos we had from the spinning wheel. But for now, I went over to the swamp with my toxic parasaur because I needed to see if I could farm a little bit of rare flowers so I would be able to make some health potions for my tames. It went pretty smoothly until I heard something behind me. I Akisa wanted to try out her buffoon dodo, so she teleported over and was gonna take care of this broodmother by the swamp. She dropped the Nuka Dodo eggs with her dodo, but she got dismounted at the worst time possible and she imploded.
Oh no! I just got...
But we found a new target to try it out on, which was the demonic Mesopithecus. But the first wave we sent in got destroyed almost instantly and didn't even explode. The second batch of Nuka Dodos didn't even nudge the monkey's health and Akisa Dodos became KFC.
Oh, no! No! My dodo!
Day 40 started with spinning the wheel again for the Omega Dinos, and for this we were only allowed to spin it 3 times. The first one we got was an Omega Fire Wyvern.
Okay, let's do again. An Omega Rex? I mean, that's fair. Come on, last one. Be a good one. Poison Wyvern? Great.
Third one was a Wyvern, but a poison one. But it's all good to be honest, because we're only gonna use it for eggs. Then it was time for the Fable tier, because it's kinda on the same tier level. For this one, we have a lot more dinos to choose from, so we're only allowed to roll for 6 fabled creatures.
Okay, second one, let's go. That's even worse. We're gonna have to wait like 50 years for it to breed. Maybe the third one will be the one. Maybe. Come on, game. Another Featherlight. I'm so tired of Featherlights.
It seems like we have insanely stupid luck getting these Featherlights, and I am so tired of those.
Hey, come on. Ooh.
Wait a minute. Ah, baby corn!
Let's hope for something super good right now, because we really need a flyer. Ooh, and Kylo? Ah, come on, a Rhino.
Oh, wait a minute.
Ah.
That would be perfect though.
So with that, I went to track down a fabled Mavicorn immediately, and this one was just insanely easy to knock out. I managed to find a second one nearby that I grabbed as well.
Oh, it's so cute though. Hi, buddy. Look at his beak.
And I think for now, while the Mavicorn are busy having some family-oriented activities, it's time to level up 2 of these buffoon terror birds to try taking down a Primal. We had one by the old base location that we started firing our missiles at. It was working pretty well against it and I was pretty pleased with it. But the server had a massive lag spike where I kinda just moonwalked for a while. And after the server unlagged, we tracked it down and nuked it down. But now we got our very first Primal Raptor defeated. And the next day, I had to get rid of a lot of these dinos again. I shot them while Akisa was handling the chainsawing, but after doing this for a long time, we were definitely starting to see an end to these Carnos. And while I was doing that, Akisa was by the volcano DPSing down a Primal. But when I teleported over to her, I spawned inside the rock. I had no other choice but to fight this Origin Raptor and whatever Primal was there. My plan was just to find a rock that the Raptor couldn't climb up on where I could just shoot at it from above. It was definitely working and it was taking damage, but it was until they actually used their brain for once and climbed up. We even had an Origin Carno in the mix there we were also damaging. And when I was trying to fight this Origin Raptor, the Guardian of the island pretty much showed up and did so much damage to my Terror Bird that I only had a quarter left of my HP. Like, this was taking us so long that day 41 was almost over. But at the very end of the day, the Origin Raptor was finally defeated. We got some tech grams, Origin blood, and a token for defeating it. And since we are 2, Akisa gets blood and tokens as well. And after fighting this Carno for so long, he was finally defeated by day 42. He gave me some cool Origin armor that he dropped. Well, for now, I had to go and grab us the Omega Dinos because we can't proceed into the next tier without the Omega eggs. I tracked down this Omega Rex female that I quickly knocked out. My sniper was just too powerful for these dinos. Alright, now we got the female. All I need now is a male. The male Rex was standing by a busy mountain, but it wasn't difficult at all and I knocked it out easily. I just had to put them into circulation to let them produce some clones of themselves to increase our egg production. And like usual, getting rid of these dinos was a necessity. We just had too many of them and we needed their stuff either way to make health potions and summoners. On day 43, I had absolutely nothing to do because all we were doing was waiting for more eggs so we could proceed with the next tier of dinos. I took my Murky out for a spin to destroy literally everything I came across. On day 44, I was curious about the Mavicorn we had and I took it out for a spin. It was insanely fast and I could cross the lands within a couple of seconds. But I stopped by this tall grass area because I wanted to scout the area a little bit, but then I flew into something and I got completely erased. After I picked up a new duck, I went over to the swamp to meet up with the Kisa, but I got hit by a freaking big fire instead and literally cooked me. I was just here to test out my new duck for harvesting rare flowers and he worked really well for it. But now we're finally able to make some of the kibble for the next tier, which consists of Demonic tier, Celestial and the new variant Fae. We were going for 3 dinos for the Fae tier.
Let's see here. Fae. I don't think I'm gonna take Fae, but like, we can try. Oh, we're getting Dragolf.
Okay.
Okay, we got the new Dragolf, and it's time for the second spin. Ooh, what's it gonna be? Ah, a Sabertooth. Oh man. Okay, last one. Hopefully it's gonna be something cool. I mean, I'm not even gonna use it, so I don't really care.
For the Demonics, we were only allowed to tame 4 creatures. And the first one we got was the Mongo.
Okay, here we go. Second one. Hopefully, something. I want something great. Yeah, I don't want that. We have 2 more chances to get something cool. Come on! I want something good! No! A horse? I've never tamed a demonic horse before.
Horse.
Dude, we're gonna have so bad demonics for this. Like, damn. Please give us something. Oh, a pig? What am I gonna do with the pig?
I was not looking forward to the Demonics we got. But now, it's time for the Celestials, and the first one wasn't bad.
Nice. A celestial environment, huh?
I also speed up the video a little bit for you guys, because it takes a hot minute just to roll a creature.
I'm not going down there. Come on, give me something useful. Oh, manga? Ah, not an Allosaurus. This is horrible. Come on, last one. This is a chance for a Griffin, and I want one. Come on. Oh, even Rockdrake. A Spino. We didn't get a single flyer there. Well, the Seeker is a flyer, but like...
Well, I can tell you guys, I am not so happy about what we got, but like, yeah, this is what we got, and this is what we're gonna have to use. And for the end of day 44, I made the Primal compound bow so I could use a very special trank arrow for it that literally one shot knocks out the creature. And that one is the origin arrow. And by day 45, we had tracked down Manga to tame it. I managed to tag it with my origin arrow, and now I had to avoid it and lead it somewhere safe where it could get knocked out. Its attack ability was just insane, and the Kisa took a fat L because of it. But I knocked it out. I gave it the taming helper and the kibble, and it was ours. So I was insanely excited to try it out with that ability. But when I was gonna try doing the attack, I couldn't do it because apparently you need both the Mongo and the Manga.
Bruh.
There are apparently 2 variants and we only got one of them from the spinning wheel, so we can't really use the ability. But this makes it completely useless because we can't tame the other one and do our special attack. Like, I mean, the fire breath it did wasn't all bad, but I think the asteroid ability would have absolutely wrecked this Primal Carno. I was really disappointed by this, by the way. On day 46, it was time going after demonic tames, and I chose to go for this Daeodon. My sniper was just in top shape at dealing torpor to the demonic Daeodon. It's just very hard to hit it while being on the featherlight because all I see is his feathers.
Got him. Yeah, let's look over the attacks. Let's see if it does something cool. That's a heal. It doesn't have any special attacks. It's just fire breath. That's it.
I was a little bit disappointed that it only did a fire breath and a heal, but like, what can we do? Anyways, a bit later I was teleporting over to Kisa because she was taming a Celestial Spino, since that was the only thing we had up that seemed useful from the Celestial line.
Whoa, what the f? What is that? Do we have a spirit creature here? No, it's gonna... No, did it actually rip the Spino?
Oh, it's actively ripping the Spino.
What shot it?
I don't even see a spirit around, so I have no idea.
It's a bee! It's a bee that got it.
If we only had a bee.
Okay, well now we just wasted an origin arrow. Save it, save the last one. If you still have your last one. We need to go after another Spino.
We went over to the sand dunes to go for another Celestial Spino here next to its brethren, but I easily separated him from his mates. Alright, after a few shots to the princess over here, she was out of consciousness and I gave her some kibble and tamed her up. But yeah, on day 47 I tracked down a hunk of a Spino to knock out and it was quite easy to torpor him. But I had to deal with the fake Carnotaurus down here or he would attack my Spino when I tame it. Alright, now I got 2 of them. But a bit later I went over to the Ab Zone again to start knocking out this Roll Rat. I was genuinely curious if it was capable of doing anything else besides fire explosions. So I only had 2 more bullets and I managed to somehow knock it out with it. I got a saddle fix for it and I tried out his attacks. It did some decent damage and all, but it was just explosions. Nikisa and I decided to take some things out and we both had to power up our creatures to get more damage and rider protection. We were even fighting this Origin Dodo and something set it up in flames. And I don't think it was me, but I think it was Ikisa's crispy bacon. So after defeating that Origin Dodo, we got some tech rams. But after defeating it, we had a spirit bee in the premise and it just ate up the Deodon. So a little bit later, we went over to the snow zone to tame another demonic Deodon. But we had a lot of company by the teleporters, so I was gonna try getting rid of them, but my Roll Rat slid down the mountain, so I tried to grab it. And when I got back there, I died again.
Dude, I cannot teleport to you. Every time I do that, I just end up dying.
And when I got back there again, I had some issues staying alive.
Whoa!
But after a short flight, we found the Deodon we wanted, but it was next to a pair of Mongos. And when it was out, I gave him the kibble and some tame helper, and now we're gonna need another one so we have a pair of them, since something happened to our first one. On day 48, I was going over the kibble some Primal Fear and I noticed something insanely bad. So, we didn't get a single demonic creature that lays any eggs. The pig does live birth, so does the horse, Roll Rat, and Manga isn't even breedable. Basically, we need the demonic eggs to make the next hero kibble like Chaos and Spirit, and we can't progress with the bosses either since it's a part of it too. If we realized this sooner, we should have re-rolled the creature.
Okay, well, sorry guys, time to reroll. So, whatever egg we get, that's the first one we take.
Basically.
Okay, well, goodbye horse! We have a thorny dragon.
But for now, we went to fight some primals by the volcano. We need our prime stuff to make more tranquilizers. And when I was home to make more demonic kibble, we were kinda lacking on those fabled eggs, and the 10 Maywings I had in terminal didn't produce eggs fast enough, so I will have to work on managing that eventually. But for now, I wanted to make this tech replicator to replace our slow fabricator. We were gonna need a little bit of metal too to make the tech generator. But that was gonna have to wait since we were out with this demonic thorny dragon, but unfortunately it spawned inside the mesh. I attacked it to try baiting it out, but it wasn't working. But on my second attack I managed to get it to work.
Oh!
Well,
Once I made it back there, Akisa had already hit it with the origin arrow, so now we were just waiting for it to get knocked out. Then I found myself slaving away getting all of this metal on day 49. I was doing this all for making the tech generator we were missing out for powering the base for our new tech replicator. But for now, I went back to the volcano to look for and farm those primal dinos for their stuff. And while I was up here just doing my thing, I came across a 145 demonic thorny, a male.
I think that's what we need. I think I'm gonna knock it out. I tagged it. Perfect. Awesome. Okay, let's put it into circulation immediately.
It's just so we can start getting some imprinted thornies very soon to fight some harder bosses. And now we're able to make the tech generator like we were supposed to. That industrial primal forge I made a long time ago is so fast. Anyways, I needed to get Maywings to produce the Fable eggs quicker, so I placed them all down so we can make more of them. On day 50, we were going for this Origin Carno on a cliff where I could try out my Celestial Spino, but I was gonna bait it down the cliff first until we got attacked by a peasant. But now, we were fighting this Origin Carno and my Celestial didn't seem to do much damage at all. It was pretty lame. I wanted to investigate this a little bit further and I went down to the green obelisk where I got caught by the monkey boy's ability.
No!
But like the Celestial does like nothing even against this Primal Raptor. It's not a DPS class unlike the Demonics. That's what I think at least. I could be wrong. We haven't tested out all the creatures in Primal Fear yet. Yeah, like so when we fought this Origin Dodo, its health was dropping way faster compared to when I used the Celestial. It's very easy to tell them apart. But I do think the Celestial might have a part of doing something useful, just maybe. And after taking down another Origin, I got a new piece of armor and I needed only boots for a complete set now. On day 51, I was out trying out the Mongo to see if I could use my special ability with the wild one nearby, but I had some problems and got grounded instead. But when I went to pick it up, it was like a war over there. I don't think I want to jump in there. I really needed to find my manga and I went in with a heal potion, but I was taking so much damage in here. We even had an Origin Argentavis joining into hell. The Argentavis shouldn't even have joined in. He got obliterated in seconds. So apparently from all that, my manga didn't even take any damage at all because it apparently heals whenever it takes damage.
Wait. I have an idea. I wanna see. Manga, you go attack that. It can use its attack alone. Do you see that? You don't need to. No wonder. But then it's gonna be uncontrollable though.
But when I was back home, our demonic thorny dragon were finally ready for us to use. I grabbed a pair and leveled them up in preparation. And then afterwards, I tried it out immediately and just remembered how good of a boy the demonic thornies are. They are simply amazing. On day 52, we discovered something that shouldn't realistically be possible.
No way! Akisa?
What?
The pig lays an egg.
What do you mean the pig lays an egg? What do you mean the pig lays an egg?
Yeah, the pig laid an egg.
So basically, we re-rolled the spinning wheel and got a Thorny who is an egg layer because we didn't have one. But apparently it did drop an egg and we had no idea about it. A bit later I wanted to draw out the manga versus an Origin Raptor and he was absolutely destroying the Raptor. The manga is just insane. It's just too bad we didn't really have the other one so we could use it to its fullest potential. On day 53, my passive farm of fabled eggs were ready to be used and put into slavery. But a bit later, I was gonna join in for a fight against an Origin Raptor Akisa was fighting, so I teleported over to her. And after mauling through that boss, we went to fight the dire bear in this thick forest. We were gonna try fighting as many of these bosses as we could, so we don't have to make summoners for the other ones that do spawn. After going through these bosses, I was about to teleport home until my featherlight got barbecued. On day 54, I made a bunch of health potions in preparation for the upcoming boss battles. So with us having no light featherlight spares, I had to take one of the Mavicorns out to this artifact to degrade. We need a little bit of artifacts to make the Origin Summoners since all of the Origin bosses didn't spawn on the map. Like there weren't that many artifacts we can get from Artifacto, but this map was relatively new to us and we had no idea where the artifacts are on this map. But at least the Artifactos are easy to deal with. Anyways, pretty soon I went to check out this meteor shower that was raining down on this small little island. I wanted to see if I could take any damage, but it didn't seem like it. But with this last artifacto, I think it will be enough for making a bunch of Origin boss summoners now. On day 55, I found myself in the snow zone with Akisa fighting these wandering loot bosses. So we're just trying to get them to evolve to higher level in state of mind so we could achieve a much bigger reward from defeating them. All we had to do was pay attention to our damage and their health, so when they go berserk, they will evolve into their next powerful stage. I did however make mine evolve into an ascendant level and I used my fire breath hoping it wouldn't destroy it, but At the start of day 56, I made a bunch of these origin summoners for the bosses we hadn't done yet. Then we walked a little bit further away from our base and blasted these bosses with our dinos, and started unlocking some engrams too. But I made a grave mistake when summoning Manga because he was flying up towards the sky with the boss, so we had to whistle him down. Anyways, we summoned the rest of them and didn't have Manga this time, and it went smoothly as before. And then a little bit into day 57, I was by the volcano to place down a teleporter and a bunch of beds, cause this is gonna be a rare place to fight a lot of the bosses of this mod. I made one of each boss summoner back home too, the classical, demonic and celestial, along with the newly released Fey boss. I also grabbed a little bit of cable as well, cause when you defeat these bosses, you get a summoner for a tamed version. But anyways, it's time for our very first tier 3 boss now, and we summoned the demonic Reaper Empress. I had to turn off the damage numbers for this fight, because it's extremely laggy otherwise. Well, it does lag a little bit still, but it's not as bad as when you have numbers on. And after defeating the Empress, we each got a summoner, saddle and a soul from defeating her. But anyways, it was then time to attempt the Celestial Indom boss. And I kinda forgot that this boss is capable of turning off my power-ups, and I somehow didn't have my rider protection for it, so I kinda got stomped by the boss. Ow! I made it back there, but the Indom had apparently moved a little bit further down the beach now. But we kinda just sat up here where he couldn't reach us, and it was so much easier now.
There we go.
And then it was time for the Fey Emperor.
Where is it? Oh, it landed on us! Oh no! That was not the plan here.
I didn't really get to do much because Akisa just destroyed him before I even got to attack.
What? Okay, you destroyed him. I didn't get to do anything.
Well, I had to pop every single potion in existence.
Really? Oh my god,
Yeah.
that went so quick.
Yeah. If I hadn't popped every single potion, I would have died. I was so low.
But on day 58, it was time to tame our first demonic Reaper Empress. I summoned it far up in the sky while Akisa was shooting an origin arrow on him. The next one was a little bit scary when Akisa accidentally attacked her, but she was able to torpor it. So now we got a pair of them at least. Now for the Indominus, I summoned 2 of them at the same time since these aren't too bad to deal with. The Fey Karshard was one of the new boss creatures, so I only summoned in one first. And then Akisa dealt with the second one and was running around with it. It was pretty fast because she could keep up with the pig. Also, when we defeated the demonic and celestial bosses, it had dropped 2 pieces of armor where I took the helmet. The helmet gives me infinite oxygen for swimming, but despite that, I wanted to go down into the aberration zone just to grab some more polymer and metal. We were running quite low on it. But I had a bad encounter with the stupid celestial Ferox down here, so I ended up dying and losing my Murica. But the very next day, I had made a bunch of more origin summoners since Akisa wanted to give the new Fey Karshar boss creature a try. We started off with an origin dodo, and the Karshar boss can apparently root bosses, but the damage it did wasn't that life-changing. It couldn't root the Wyvern however, so that was out of the question for sure. But since it was taking a little while for Akisa to deal with that dodo boss, I summoned in the rest of the bosses and nuked them down. Day 61, I wanted to sort out some of the stuff like the blood and feathers so I could see where we stand with all that. These were all really important to know how much we had of because we need these to make the boss summoners. And I can't really quite visualize how much we have if I can't see it with my 2 naked eyeballs. And the only thing I could visualize at this point was that we were lacking in the Omega-3 blood department. So I threw out an army of Omegas to harvest them. I also used the growth pulse to speed up the maturation time. We were gonna have to go through a lot of these to catch up on the blood. I got one of these propagators made too, so the Dinos can make more inside it. Day 62 wasn't that much different from last night. It was an endless cycle of throwing out Dinos out of their Pokeballs just to harvest them. Akisa got me an Apex Magmasaur as well, so I could use it to harvest up a little bit of metal. So the next day, I was out with my Magmasaur grabbing a little bit of metal by the mountain here. It was decent, but not like life-changing. But when I got home, Akisa had captured some Celestial Seekers for us so we could replace the old light feather lights we've been using. And to get a break from harvesting dinos, I made new summoners for the tier 3 bosses. We just needed to have a few backups of them. The demonic Empress went down without a single trouble, and then shortly after the Indominus Emperor. On day 64, I got one of these Empresses summoned in, and while Akisa was dealing with this one, I went to tame the Emperor. Thereafter we tamed up Akisa's summoners too, which was easy. But now, since we got 4 each of these, I just wanted to prepare them with a little bit of levels and saddles, because the upcoming boss fights are gonna be our hardest one yet. I wasn't quite sure what to do with Indominus Rex except just giving him a shit ton of health since he will be the tank against the boss for tier 4. Then the Reapers are basically just the heavy DPS with its high-ticking fire damage. A bit later, I went over the blood we had figured that we might need in a few departments like Toxic, Alpha, Fabled and Primal. Feathers are gonna be needed too, but they are so easy to get now. On day 65 was just another day of slaving away fighting an Origin for its token. Akisa was trying out her new Seeker and basically cocooned me. But this whole day, we were hunting down all of the Origins as we could so we would save some of our resources from making summoners. On day 66, I had to prepare a batch of Demonics and Celestials to harvest for their hide in case we might be able to get the super cool saddle BP or something. Thereafter, I quickly teleported to Akisa while she was destroying this Origin Spino to just get an extra boss token. But then I had to go out and capture a Fabled Brachio because the stuff we got from the Mavicorns was like nothing. I was back at home just to pick up my Celestial Seeker for myself to try it out. But then I was out again on the hunt for another Fabled Brachio where I flew into this Origin Carno. It was the perfect one to try out my new Seeker on. It's honestly not all bad and did some insane damage actually. But towards the end of the day, I just grabbed 2 of these Brachios so I could harvest their offspring for their Fabled stuff. I was quite liking the Celestial Seeker because it has a perfect aim with its bomb attack. And we haven't had a proper flyer until now. But a bit later, we had located 3 Origins in an area here to fight together, so in the midst of battle, I summoned even more of them I had in my pockets. Might as well multitask while we're here. And then back home, my Demonic Thornix were ready to be harvested and gave quite the hide. But now I got these big chunky boys to raise up, and it was kinda funny to see the dinos growing up fast as heck with the growth pulse. And for day 68, 69 and 70, I didn't really do too much other than just racing and farming a bunch of dinos. We had some powerful upcoming bosses and prepping and farming these dinos will be a smart move. The Brontos were quite squirmy once I used my Euthanize gun on them, but they do have a lot of stuff. I even got some dedicated boxes placed down for the hide since it was overflowing our storage boxes. And on day 70, I did my last batch of dinos. I'm not quite sure how much we need, but I aimed for a few thousand blood of each type at least. So at the start of day 71, I made a bunch of health potions in preparation since today we're gonna start with the tier 4 bosses, Spirit and Chaos Wyvern. I made the summoner for the Chaos fight cause that's the one we will start with. I brought in a couple of Buffoon Terror Birds to help us out with the fight. Well, at least hoping they can do anything. We will turn off damage numbers for this fight as well, because if I remember, this fight usually almost kills my entire computer. We will just have to make sure we have rider protection as well.
3, 2, 1.
And for some reason, when we were fighting this guy, I didn't have my rider protection, so I had to fix it real quick. And Akisa's Indominus could handle this fight really well, like she wasn't taking that much damage. Well, this fight was really easy to do, especially with me being the DPS while Akisa tanked it. For some reason, that was a very easy fight. This is probably the first time we had a boss fight that didn't go bad. But anyways, back home I made a summoner for the Spirit Guardian boss fight now. I don't like this fight at all since I have a bad memory with this one being harder than the Chaos.
3, 2, 1.
I was just gonna wait for Kisa to get the aggro on the boss before I started attacking it. Because if I get a frontal attack from the Spirit Orb attack, that will one-shot me. The Spirit Wyvern is a little bit more complicated to fight since it didn't get grounded as much. This Spirit Orb bombs can also blast you away. While close to the end of day 71, Akisa experienced a GPU crash while she was recording the fight.
I think my graphics card crashed.
Oh no! During the fight?
Yeah, this is actually quite unfortunate.
So for day 72, we both got bomb blasted away from the Wyvern, but now I am completely alone against it. Kisa was still loading into the game because we have like 20 or 30 mods or something. So the bomb blast from the Spirit Guardian is insanely strong, but if you don't get pushed away from its attack, you get one-tapped.
Oh my god! I got pushed pretty far, do you see that? Oh my lord! Okay, I'm not gonna get back there, I'm just gonna have to teleport.
But now, when the boss had 150 million health left, Akisa was finally back now for the fight again. And when it was getting close to being defeated, I kept getting pushed away. I wanted to be close to it when it gets defeated, so I wouldn't miss out on that engram unlock.
Oh, good ground, he's behind me.
Yes!
Oh,
Once we
yeah.
defeated the
What
boss,
heck?
a wild Spirit Wyvern spawned on him. But yeah, that was a brutal and a stressful fight. So with us defeating those two bosses, I am now able to make the Chaos and Spirit Orb. This also means we're ready to spin the wheel again for the Spirit and Chaos Dinos. We will be able to spin for 3 creatures for Spirit and 3 for Chaos.
Give me something good! Not the dodo!
It'll be so cute!
Okay, let's go again. Please, be something good! Oh yes! Exactly what I want. Exactly what I want.
I'm hoping we get a B somewhere in any of these.
Okay, last one. Let's hope for something
B,
amazing.
B.
Every spirit creature is good as long as it's a flyer. That is definitely interesting one.
Up. Okay, let's see what we got for chaos.
A B!
B. I love B.
You're lucky. Getting at least what you want. Can we get something cool? Not a freaking dodo!
Chaos Dodo.
I would like the griffin. Give us a griffin. Griffin. Oh, come on. I don't want the Spider. Okay, well, we have a
Sorry,
spirit
buddy, no
wyvern.
griffins this time. And a bee.
So, we will be able to tame a Spirit Dodo, a Spirit Wyvern, a Spirit Thyla, Chaos Bee, Chaos Dodo, and a Chaos Spino. This is not too bad at all. I just wanted the Spirit Wyvern either way. But since we can now tame the Spirit and Chaos creatures, it will be time to eventually do a spinning wheel for the boss creatures as well. But right now, we want to tame a level 100 Chaos Bee. I managed to tag the bee, but I had to keep my distance and I couldn't see anything. And then close to the end of the day, I was going for a Spirit Wyvern that was only level 50, but it's a Spirit Wyvern nonetheless. And I would be able to make more of them if I get another one. I tagged it with my origin arrow and then I just guided it around until it was knocked out. On day 73, I was testing out the Spirit Wyvern and despite it being a level 50, he pulled off some amazing damage. Now, imagine if I had a bread and a higher level one. This would be amazing. But a bit later I went over to Kisa because she was taming another Chaos Bee. She was handling it well and didn't really need my help. So in the meantime I went to destroy an Origin Spino. I was really pleased with the Spirit Wyvern so far. But a bit later I went out farming a little bit of resources like crystal and such so we can make a grinder back home. And from grinding all of these things we had stored up home, we got so much metal, polymer and black pearls. On day 74, it was time to roll the boss creatures we could tame, so we will start from basic all the way up to Spirit and Chaos. But we will only roll a boss creature once in each tier. And if it happens that we get a boss creature that isn't supposed to lay an egg, we will have to re-roll it.
Oh my god. Out of all of the things.
Dodo Wyvern.
Okay, dodo wyvern for that one. Okay, let's hope for something better. Alpha. Dodorex. Would have been better with Manticore. Okay, last one. Please. Be something super good. Ooh. Oh. Manticore. Best torpor machine in the game.
I don't know why we need a torpor machine, but you'll get your torpor machine.
Well, some creatures you can't use an origin arrow on.
What's that?
Okay, Chaos. Which one do you hoping for? Okay, well, let's just spin and see what we get because we don't really care, I think.
Oh, the monkey, of course. We got the monkey.
I don't think I want the monkey. Okay, Spirit then. Please, something amazing. We want something amazing! Not the dragon. Okay, well.
And before I was gonna go look for those, I wanted to look for a spirit wyvern first on the scanner, and I saw a high level one and I wanted that. I tracked down the spirit wyvern and shot her, but the first arrow didn't connect at all. But on my second hit I managed to get her. Not too difficult at all, as long as she's aggro to me. And then I was just home gender switching it to prepare it for making some more powerful ones. I was just gonna try making my bred spirit wyvern equally powerful as my new one I just caught by replacing the bad one until it's no longer bad. So while I was fixing my spirit wyverns, Akiza was making an army of bees for some reason, and I was unbelievably shook. And using the growth pulse with these creatures make this process so fast. But anyways, a bit later we were going for these chaos dodos to tame them since Akiza had a plan for them. And at the start of day 75, I knocked out a spirit dodo Akiza waited by. Then I fed and I tamed it.
Can I do any attacks? What?
So, basically, any sort of attack you do with it explodes themselves. Well, at least we found a new one really quick. But a bit later, I went out to grab this dodo wyvern to get started on that. But I got overwhelmed by the sheer amount of creatures here, so I perished. And when I made it back here to try again, I got splattered by the poison bomb. It wasn't working out with the origin arrow because it wouldn't let me tag it, so I switched to the classical old trank bullets for this. And it was working great. Alright, now we got the dodo wyvern, now I just need a second one. My spirit wyvern was now ready to be used, it's all ready to be tested out. I just went searching for my first target and then I found one. The spirit wyvern's damage was just insane, I kinda just nuked down that origin Rex. So for today, I just flew all around the map trying out my spirit wyvern and enjoying its explosive ability. On day 77, it was finally time for the Nova and Pick-on boss fights. We decided to head to the tall grass area to fight them here, giving us a little bit more headroom for the fight. But here we go, time to do this fight. Pick-on the creator was first up. Akiza brought in her bee army while I heavily relied on the spirit wyvern for the fight. I just had to be very cautious and look over my wyvern self along with my own, because the attacks and drones he summons can damage the rider as well. Akiza couldn't really do anything in this fight because the bees were not capable of flying and dealing damage to him.
I don't know how long I can keep this going. Oh, I'm gonna die too. Heal. I didn't check my health.
But after being grounded for like 10 minutes, we defeated our first Pick-on.
Another bee!
No, not B6!
And when we defeated him, it rewarded us with the fully creator tech suit we can now use that replaces our old one. It gives us a lot of cool buffs for our characters too. But anyways, as we defeated Pick-on, he is supposed to drop an egg we can hatch to get our own, but I couldn't see his egg at all. On day 78, it was time for Nova the Destroyer. This one will be easier since it will only be stuck to the ground. We just kept on blasting Nova with our abilities from the sky and he was pretty hopeless against us. Then after a few minutes, he was defeated. And Nova did in fact drop an egg for us to grab. Cool, now we got our own Nova. The growth pulse works really well for it too, so it will grow up really fast. I also got one of these demonic dissension items that lets us transform our demonics into a fallen one, making them a little bit stronger. I did the same on my Celestial Seeker to make him a powerhouse. Now, after a few minutes, it was ready to be used. I definitely noticed some improvements on Nova the Destroyer with its attacks. They have improved the quality of its attacks, so they are more pleasing for their eyes. I definitely like this change, it looks really sick. But anyways, it's time to make the next boss summoner, Dodo the Dodo. We decided to head to the volcano for this fight, but I had to clear the area a little bit. It is now day 79, and it's time to officially do the Dodo boss. He spawned with only 170 million HP, but he also spawned a lot of minions to attack me.
Wow.
Kisa also managed to get pancaked by fighting them. These minions did a lot of damage. But the most annoying part was that these Vyrants depleted my stamina and my stimulant couldn't make me get my stamina back. At least the boss was close to 100 million health from bomb blasting his face for a while, but dealing with the stamina depletion was a drag honestly. The Vyrant that kept attacking me made it impossible for me to attack. I teleported back and forth just to retrieve my stamina back. But after a few minutes of constantly attacking the Dodo, his HP didn't go down at all when attacking him directly, and we were confused why. But after destroying a couple of minions he summoned, we think his HP is linked to that. Yeah, it's definitely that. It's definitely the minion. So as soon as we defeated the minion, he lost a bunch of health. Now he's 64 million. The fight continued for so long that it had already turned into day 80. Like, this was just insane. I had to start hunting down the minions as well. And even though it had 10 million HP left, I had 2 minions left to deal with in the ocean here. Now, after the last Vyrant minion, the boss was finally defeated.
Oh, nice!
Dodo the Dodo has been defeated.
Oh my lord, that went on for a while. So for fighting this, we managed to get a hold of a lot of Origin tributes along with the Dodo. The Dodo tribute and an armor. The armor was most likely for this egg we found here. And after fighting these many Origins, Akisa managed to get 50 Origin blood and I managed to get 65. Anyways, while the Dodo is being left alone to grow up, I moved our boss platform of operations to the grassy area, because fighting them down by the ocean wasn't working out that well, and having an open area like this might be better. And to try out the new area, I made 2 of these Artifact of the Ascendant Summoners so we can get our hands on a lot of artifacts. And these guys drops between 18 to 24, so that's gonna be great. The other one had moved a little bit further away from us, but it was being dealt with easily. I also wanted to just demonstrate how bad our FPS turns when we have the damage numbers visible. It's horrible, so we kinda turned it off for certain fights. Alright, after getting our hands on some artifacts, Akisa tried out the new Dodo, which was able to summon a lot of spheres in the sky that damage anything around her. But right now, we have to focus on doing a lot more of these celestial indoms and demonic empresses, since we need a lot of souls to fight all of the bosses for the last tiers. I summoned in a couple first, since I wasn't sure how many you could summon to begin with, like if there was a cap. But I ended up summoning all. I made more summoners for Picon and Nova and started fighting Picon by the grassy fields. I ended up in the afterlife because I didn't really pay attention to my health at all. I'm not really sure what was happening. I kept getting eye blinded by his ability, making it hard to see my own health. I got on my Nova to fight him instead, but I yet again perished. And after a few minutes of fighting him, I ended up expiring again. Like, the thing is, I keep looking at my creature's health to keep him healed, but I keep forgetting to look down on my own health. But after a full day of fighting him and revisiting the afterlife, he was defeated. Akisa got us the egg, but now it just needs to be hatched. But anyways, it was time for us to fight the Nova the Destroyer again. And this time I let Akisa deal with him since I was kinda AFK or something. And when I got back, I grabbed a lot of Akisa's pigs that I sent into the phrase.
Oh no.
Okay, so I forgot to hit the recording when day 84 started, so let me explain what happened today. Me and Akisa went out and captured 2 of the Alpha Dodorexes to make the next boss Kibble, and then fight 2 Origin Penguins, and that's about it. But at least we will be able to see this part where we fight 2 of these Nova Destroyers. It wasn't exactly hard to fight them since they can't really reach up to us in the air. And for day 85, we were just fighting 2 Pickon the Creators. The first one got defeated pretty easily and I was immediately summoning in the next one. And the second one crumbled away within the next few minutes. Alright, it was day 86 and it's time to attempt these 4 Elemental Colossus bosses. We went over to the grassy fields again and started clearing up the area of all the dinos to give us a little bit more empty space. And after it was done, it was finally time to attempt our first Colossus boss, the Electric. But here is our first problem we ran into. We noticed that the boss barely moved and our attacks weren't working. We apparently had a ping of 255 when we summoned him in. And this made the fight pretty lame since if we just stand there and we would just struggle to even get our attacks to shoot. Then as soon as he was defeated, the lag completely vanished and we could interact with stuff and move. But the next day, we were ready for the Fire Colossus boss. I had done some changes to the server to help circumvent the 255 ping while lowering the spawn rates to 1 times instead of 10, and it definitely improved a little bit. We could actually interact with our heals and do attacks now, but it was still a little bit laggy, but way better. And after we got him defeated, the next Colossus was up, which was the Caustic one. The fight went pretty smoothly and nothing weird was happening, it was just taking a while with his 2.7 billion health. But now we have only 1 more Colossus to defeat for the medallion. But before we were gonna do the last Colossus, I had to go back home and cook up a bunch of health potions. We kept using them all the time, but at least they were perfectly balanced. And now it's time for the last Colossus boss, the Ice variant. I mean, at least this one didn't seem too bad at all. He wasn't doing any ridiculous attacks on us. Or maybe he actually did, and I couldn't see it coming. But after a few minutes of sending purple explosions to his face, our last elemental was finally defeated. For day 89, I made a few Apex boss kibble because I saw a 150 Apex Manticore on the scanner I wanted to get. It wasn't difficult at all to find it and hit it with a one-shot arrow. But shortly after I tagged it, it was knocked out cold so I could tame it now. I made a saddle for the Apex Manticore and was gonna try it out immediately. I had a perfect target to try it out on because the Origin arrow don't work on this skeletonized Tyrannosaur, and the best way is using this Apex Manticore. That's how you do it and it's pretty good at taming. And on day 90, all I did was fly around the map destroying every Celestial and Demonic I came across since we were in need of more souls, and that's pretty much to it to this day. On day 91, it was time to make all of the Colossus boss summoners again and do them. And before we could go out and do the Colossus bosses like a second time, I saw this Apex Manticore up on the map and went out to catch it. We need its Apex egg so we can make more of that boss kibble to tame the Chaos Monkey or the Spirit Dragon. I also made sure I made more of them in the meantime we went off to do the bosses so they could produce the eggs fast. Well, fighting this Colossus is as fun as ever since all we do is just DPSing it. But his minions were annoying because they were able to dismount us from our dinos all the time.
Well, I got dismounted again!
But as soon as it was getting close to defeat, I had a hiccup.
Oh, please. Not the minions. Anything but the minions right now. Oh, of course I get dismounted by the time he gets killed.
He's dead.
Yeah, I didn't get the medallion because of it. Yeah, I didn't get the medallion because I died there.
Well, it's annoying it actually happened, but we only needed 1 more token from these Colossus fights. And when we fight it together, we are rewarded 2 tokens. And for now, I went out to trank Harambe in the snow zone to prepare him for Ikiza. But we need more artifacts just to make the boss kibble, so I went out to deal with that quickly.
2 we said, right? Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
Oh, look at him, monkey. Harambe. Oh.
But it's time for another Colossus. And as the time passed into the night, he was finished. So, we had the Spirit Dragon up, but we were gonna go check out this Monolongo Ding Dong Saurus first. Found it and was starting to feel some weird effects. We were getting high or something.
Ah, what's happening? Oh, my whole screen is all weird. Oh my god. What is happening? I'm not touching anything on my keyboard, like mouse and all that. Oh, this is wild.
But after checking it out, I went to go and tame my Spirit Dragon. I was hoping it was a good one. And when I was home, I couldn't make the saddle since we were out of boss essence. So let me fix that real quick. The dragon was really fun to use because I could just spam his explosive ability. Day 94, it was time for the Fire Colossus. After using my dragon for like 2 minutes into the fight, the boss already had lost more health compared to when we used 2 Novas before. We didn't waste any time at all and went straight to fighting the Ice Colossus, and this one was even easier. But to proceed with 3 more endgame bosses, I had a few steps ahead of me, like defeating Artifactor for more artifacts. Then we had to deal with a few origins. But as soon as we were done with the origins, we once again went through these old demonic and celestial bosses. On day 96, it was time for another pick-on. But when I was using my Spear Dragon, I was fully flashbanged. And the boss was losing his health super fast. Even the second one went down so fast. And then we just had to destroy 2 more Novas and they were completely helpless against us. But close to the end of the day, it was time to making the last boss summoners. On day 97, it was finally time for Picon's revenge. 1 minute into the fight, Ikiza had a game crash again, leaving me stranded. My Spirit Dragon was taking a stupendous amount of damage, so I had to swap it out for the Reaper Bomb Blaster. And once Ikiza was back and we were doing actual progression, Picon decided to get his feet wet, making this fight even more annoying. We shifted our positions a little bit, so now he finally stepped up on land. Well, we are into day 98 and still fighting Picon's revenge. The fight was just insane and probably bad for my brain too, eyeballs and even my PC.
Ugh. Finally!
Oh, yeah.
But now, a bit later, it was time for this other boss, Dodo's Revenge.
Where did he go? Ah! Ow! Ow! Ow!
Like, this Dodo was really not a joke, because Ikiza died on her Noah with all the max health potions enabled.
Oh, I did.
What? Nova?
Yep.
This Dodo was just powerful. But when I was alone, I got pushed down from the ravine. So I kinda just died since I couldn't see my mouse cursor at all to get the heck out of there.
Oh no, you're flashbang.
I got back to the fight on my Nova and I tried staying up here shooting at him.
Just back up a little bit, okay, so you don't fall off.
On day 99, the Dodo was down to 2 billion. It was going smoothly now and it was down to less than 1 billion HP. But as it was nearing a defeat, it started to calm down a lot now. Yeah, so the Dodo's Revenge just disappeared and we either were too slow to defeat him or he just meshed and vanished. But either way, it's time for our last boss fight, Nova's Revenge.
Oh! don't remember it being that big. I have 10 FPS. 10.
This fight was absolutely horrendous, especially with this insane lag. Well, at least we got him down to his God of Destruction form, and this is where the real challenge starts.
Oh my god, health potion disabled.
The damage we did to her wasn't enough, and her HP wasn't even flinching.
Well, that's awkward.
I got over on my second Nova, but I couldn't keep up with her damage and the lag.
Ah! Oh, I took so much damage there.
Like, I even tried a third time, but this was all but useless. She was too powerful. I sent in the rest of the tames, and this was all but useless.
I can't survive it! No!
If we had been more prepared and had time on us to actually attempt getting a Skynet, we might have been able to actually give this boss a good fight. Anyways, we tried our best in the end, guys, and had a lot of fun along the way. Shout out to War Thunder again for sponsoring today's video. Make sure to check out War Thunder now for free on PC, PlayStation, Xbox or on mobile, and use my links in the pinned comment or video description to register. Those of you who are new or haven't played for 6 months will also receive a thick bonus pack across PC and console, including multiple premium vehicles, in-game currency and other goodies.